here with Jay Otluski, broker, owner of Desert Home Premier. He's here to help us better understand some of these legal hotline questions. We're going to tap into your 25 plus years experience. Whew. So he's seen it all, and he's got a lot of insight in how to answer these. So today we've got can the seller instruct the broker to only, or can the seller instruct the broker only to present certain types of offers? So there's a lot of layers to this one. So here's the issue. The seller has instructed the listing broker not to present any offers to purchase the home unless the offer is more than $350,000. The buyer's broker has presented an offer of $320,000, and the listing broker has informed the buyer's broker that this $320,000 offer will not be presented to the seller. Does the listing broker have to present the $320,000 offer? And if not, does the buyer's broker have the right to see the seller's written instruction?
Wow.
There's a lot on that.
So that last part just answered the first part. So the listing broker always has to present all offers. I don't care how low, how high, unless they have in writing from the seller. So in this case, if the seller had said, hey, nothing under $350,000, don't do it, signed it, dated it, gave it to you, you don't have to do it then.
Okay. So is this Arizona revised statute, or is this
yes,
part
it
of the
is.
Code of Ethics?
Yeah, no, it's part of the statute. I'm not sure of the exact number, but there's no requirement unless it's in written.
Mm-hmm. So this is absolutely against the law if it's not in writing.
Right. If you can't just say I'm not going to present an offer. You have to present all offers. It's your fiduciary responsibility to present all offers and in a timely manner, unless the seller has said no.
Okay. So what's the best practice per se of how to have this conversation initially with your seller when they say that they want to do this?
Yeah. So that's a good question, because if you do have it in writing, of course, then it's too late. You can't do it. But I would have a conversation with my seller that I shouldn't say it this way, go the other way. Every offer is an opportunity to sell your house.
I like that.
$350,000 list price, they come in at $300,000. We'd all kind of, especially in this market, we'd all call that a low ball offer.
Right.
I cannot tell you over the years how many times I've had what I thought was a low ball offer. We countered them pretty close to asking price, and they said, okay. And then they signed it, and we sold the house. If you didn't present it, you wouldn't have sold the house.
So would you say then that this is a seller's way of being a little bit of an alpha in the situation? They're trying to these are my cards and this is all I want.
Yeah, I would say that 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, if they're going to tell you something like this, then yeah, they're just trying to enforce their strength against you. And it's our job to understand why they're doing it and help them understand why it's in their best interest to get any offer. I mean, how long does it take to make a phone call to your seller and say, hey, it came in at $320,000, and have them say, no, I'm not going to take it. Okay, well, what would you take? And now you're talking to your seller says, hey, you know what, $342,000 and I'm done, I'm not going to do it. Great, let's go back at $342,000. I'll tell the buyer agent $342,000 is it, don't even come back again because we're not going lower. That conversation, I mean, you and I just did it. I mean, it's a 5-minute when you add all the extra fluff into it. Yep. You shoot out a counteroffer, they digitally sign it, you send it back, 20 minutes, you got it done.
I really love the language you used about, every offer is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's so important to make sure that your clients are well informed. I mean, asking is free.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, asking is free, and having a conversation about the potential of selling your house is free. So why not open up that opportunity instead of just being closed door to it?
Yeah.
So in the event that, like this, you said this is actually, it's in the statutes, this is against the law to not present the offers without it being in writing. Would you mention that if you had a seller who was kind of giving you some pushback and saying that don't show me anything higher than this?
Oh, you'd have to get it in writing. I would, and that's what we teach our agents, that if your seller has any instructions, it must be in writing, because otherwise it doesn't exist. It has to be written, signed, dated. It can be in the listing agreement, which is typically where it goes. You just write in there. Sellers, title company, sometimes sellers want a specific title company. We put that in. But yeah, you'd want it in writing. And And part of this question, I think, if I remember, the last part, a broker does not have the responsibility to show the buyer agent those written instructions. Now, it may feel better to show them because now you prove that it's not you doing it, but you don't have to do it. There's nothing in the rules that says I have to show you my written instructions.
So I keep circling back to the initial conversation that you have with your seller.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that the people watching have an idea of how to have that conversation in a way that opens the mind of the seller. Because if you can nip this problem in the bud out of the gate, that eliminates all of it. And if you can help them see the value in just accepting offers, sometimes you get all kinds of crazy offers. If it's in the type of neighborhood that has a lot of stuff in a really low price point, like a $200,000 in surprise or something, you're going to get investors that come in,
absolutely.
30 grand under in a $200,000 house. But at least they know, and as you're representing the seller, if you can come and show them, like, this is what we have, this is what we have, this is what we have, that establishes trust. I think that if you're actually showing them, like, this is the work that I've done, and these are the things that we've seen as a result to that, even if they don't want to see it because they don't want to see anything past that, like you said, every offer is an opportunity, and I love that language. But the more you can coach them through that process and even do your other favorite thing, which is the takeaway, do you really want to miss out on an opportunity? So, it's going to be different for every seller, but the most important thing, and this is like always, because our buyers and sellers really rely on us for this, but education.
Well, we are the experts. We're supposed to know this.
Right.
The other thing I want to add in, not with this question, but could come up for agents is anything that would fall under or even sniffs like a fair housing issue. Walk away. Don't sign it. Don't write it down. I don't care. If you even begin to think it might be a fair housing issue, stop it right then. If it's got to do with any of the protected classes or even comes close to it, don't even cross it, because the federal government is no joke, man. They don't play around.
So in that case in particular, this seller is saying, I don't want to see any offers lower than this dollar amount. So that's a pretty safe bet. But when they start going into...
Well, a couple of examples could be ethnicity. That walk away. Sexual orientation, you're going to walk away from this listing. It's not worth... And in this world, who wants to deal with that kind of person anyway? But start even the little minor things. Think about VA. I don't want VA loans. I heard they're a pain in the neck. I heard they come in low. You're actually discriminating against military. Now, they're not a protected class, but you're starting to get close to discrimination, which is just not worth your license, your money, or any problems that could come from any of that. So talk to your sellers. Tell them that this is why. If you're the expert, this is why we're going to look at any offer. Is because I'm here to support you, and I'm here to walk through the process to get this house sold. And if you tell me I can't do something, you've just taken away an opportunity for me to sell your house.
That's exactly right. And then the last thing that I will say to kind of reinforce one of your points, you don't have to work with them. It's one of the beautiful things about our industry. You run your business, which means you deserve you have the right to refuse service to anyone. You're the restaurant with the sign above the register that says, basically be a jerk and you're gone. So it's going to save you the headache, but it's also going to save you the potential of a lawsuit, because you're not going to have to worry about those individuals that are going to really make you walk a line, which can be very dangerous and expensive.
Well, if they're a pain in the neck to start, they never get better. And the agents watching, if you've met somebody, you're like, oh my gosh, it never gets better.
It doesn't. So protect yourself, and not just legally, but emotionally, because you don't want to have to deal with those folks. And hopefully you found this discussion helpful. So we'll be back again soon to talk about some other legal hotline points. And as always, go ahead and leave some comments. If you have any questions, if there's something you'd like us to cover, we're happy to do that. Just leave it below and start a discussion. So thank you, Jay,
Absolutely.
and we will see you next time.
Thanks. Okay.
I wish there was a light.